Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm very disappointed.
Screw this. I'm walking out.
Walked Out, the movie game show podcast.
Welcome to Walked Out, the movie game show podcast. This is a movie game show. We play games based around movies and reviews until by the end of the season, we have a final victor. We have recently had a small break, but we're excited to be back. Over my break, I decided to create a vigilante group to take down the naughty boys that no one else will. Matt joined a gym over his break. Unfortunately, he's back to the couch to 5k as the bodybuilders there seemed a little too intense. Stuart, on the other hand, spent his time at the local Chevy dealership talking to Camaros. We're in the process of getting him help. Welcome back, guys.
Hello.
Welcome. Is that a Transformers, that last one?
That was, yes.
Am I Shia LaBeouf to you? Is that how little you think of me?
Well, you could have been Megan Fox, but...
Actual cannibal.
Yeah. Oh, man.
an actual cannibal.
I kind of purposely didn't watch any Transformers in preparation for this week's theme.
Oh, I did exactly the same. I watched no
I
Transformers.
watched, like, all of them. I feel like Transformers definitely hit a spot for me. I don't know what the spot was, but I just needed...
Amy just won the episode because she knows.
She knows she's probably got...
I now know literally a quarter of his entire filmography.
Really?
Yeah. Also, if you were doing a review, even if like you'd done a different one, you'd just be frantically retyping a new one so that you could win.
How has your explosive week been? We are on our Hot Shots episode. Michael Bay.
Mine's been pretty good. Spent it in Scotland with no Michael Bay movies. And barely any internet connection.
Do they not have Michael Bay in Scotland?
They have Michael Bay in Scotland, but I was in the countryside with like almost no internet in a family with a huge DVD and video collection, so we watched those.
My week has been both orange and it has been blue.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Bay's movies have two color schemes, orange and blue. And it's usually blue when it's like an area focused around police or NASA.
He likes his authorities.
The authorities in general, they're always blue. I get it.
It's always Megan Fox's skin is orange and the background sky is blue, usually.
Well, most of his movies are funded by the military, actually.
Yeah, I kept hearing about that anytime I look stuff
And
up.
that's actually not an uncommon thing. Look at the first two Iron Man movies.
They're not funded by, but the military give American movies free shit if they portray the military positively enough.
To be fair, I did think, I was like, who is giving this guy so much money? Because, I mean, I picked Michael Bay because although he's not held to like a huge regard, he is still very well known. He is still one of the bigger names. He is a huge household name.
A hotshot, if you will.
I was thinking as I was watching everything, I was like, why has he got this massive budget to do all these like military airplane scenes and stuff? But now it all makes sense.
It's not uncommon. A lot of Hollywood movies are funded by the US military. Look at the first two Iron Man movies. They're actually funded by the US military as well. And it shows, in fact, they're very army orientated. The third one isn't. You can tell in the change of narrative. That one's more Iron Man on his own. That's when Marvel started going rogue and decided they wanted to be an MCU and not just like the MC me and you.
What do you think Michael Bay could or would do in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I think exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
He would just do Iron Man 1 and 2 again.
It just and more Black Widow scenes.
Could he take over from James Gunn on Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, he would do... I was about to say Guardians of the Galaxy because there's musical fight scenes and he used to do music videos. It was like most of his career at first.
Really?
Yeah, that's how he started. I was thinking, actually, he does these fantastic sequences across a lot of his films, you know, especially Transformers, where he's got all the car scenes. And I was thinking, do you know what? I would love to see him do, like, a martial arts film
Ooh.
and have this, like, amazing choreography. I think that would be, like, really cool.
Yeah. I actually saw, like, while I was in Scotland, we watched Karate Kid, and I have forgotten all of that movie. There is so much movie in that movie that isn't him doing a crane kick and waxing a car. Like,
No, it was.
there's like plots, and it's crazy. I had forgotten everything.
I think the thing that Michael Bay does best is sort of his early movies. He's
And
able to
Bumblebee.
make it very funny with his dialogue while the action's going on. Later in movies, when it's Shia LaBeouf, it's not so funny because it's just like, I don't know. I don't hate Shia LaBeouf. I think even Stevens was hilarious when I was a kid. But
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf's nice.
in the early career, at least, yeah, you can. It's witty dialogue where they're just talking and talking and talking, and you think it should be a mess, but it's actually it just works with that bromance sort of thing. That's
Yeah,
what
I did notice that in the Bad Boys movies. Like, it's full of jokes and stuff, and yeah, just people constantly sort of stopping to talk in things that you'd never be able to hear anything.
Are we ready for our first round, our first game? Whose review?
Right.
Yeah. Who's that?
review?
Who's review?
Whose review?
Who?
I think we're
Our
about to find out.
Communism.
Amy's review.
So on to our first game, Who's Review, where Stuart and Matt have picked a movie each from the Michael Bay theme. They'll read out 3 reviews, 2 of which are real online reviews they found, and 1 is their own review. Our job is to guess the movie, and for bonus points, can we guess which is their own review? Who would like to
Heads.
go first?
Heads.
Oh, fuck
I will go first. Okay, I'm looking at a number on my thermometer.
37.
Pick a number, Matt.
you. 31.
Okay, I'm gonna give that to Stuart because it's 27. So he was only a line off.
You were off by more than me by like 6.
He was off by
But because it
one
ended
digit.
in the same number.
If
All right.
2 is a 3. Stuart, you go first.
All right. Review number 1. Don't let your children see this film. I'm going to get the Karen out of the way early.
Yeah, this is definitely Stuart's review.
This is definitely Stuart's then.
What an appalling film. The sequel to an entertaining action hit takes all the negative elements from the first one and capitalizes on none of the positives. This must be the most violent, insensitive, and immoral film ever made. Violent, insensitive, and immoral. All words that can be entertaining, but when it's used with crude, unoriginal, and boring, the level of insult and disgust rises considerably. Both the story and the characters are undeveloped and seriously lacking, with no potential to be interesting. The glamour and righteousness with killing both guilty and innocent people is truly shocking. If you want blood, gore, special effects, despite its abundance, it will leave you feeling empty and unsatisfied. 1 out of 10.
Wow, that mentioned like no actors or anything.
I think there's one word in there that really popped out to me, and that was the glamour of it. So I definitely have a sequel in mind. And yeah, I think there's definitely an air of glamour, an air of Bel Air in there, if you will. We'll hear the second review.
Review number 2. Pure garbage. Check your brain at the door for this one. This movie is a nice commentary on just how far Hollywood has come. You'll feel as though you've just left a 2.5-hour junk food buffet. That's right, I said 2.5 hours. It's like watching 5 episodes of a bad TV series in a row.
Such as Fresh Prince.
Anyone involved with this film should be embarrassed and ashamed. 1 out of 10.
Ouch.
Wow. They're still very light on specifics. Although I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
I was catching up with both of you, and Stuart did mention that he did watch Armageddon, which, as we know, is my favourite Michael Bay film. And he did mention that, yeah, the reviews are right. It's a pretty stupid film. And that
It's
is
really
that
dumb.
is 2.5 hours long. So okay, my mind is changing now.
Review number 3. There's no denying that it was a no-holds-barred, adrenaline-fueled thrill ride, but there's no way you and Du Bois can possibly just bust into Cuba without getting waterboarded in Guantanamo Bay. 10 out of 10.
Oh, do you still think it's Armageddon, Amy?
I don't now. No, that kind of confirmed my initial.
We need to drill a hole 800 feet into Cuba.
We just need to drill into Cuba.
If we don't
Send the
nuke
rednecks
Cuba,
in.
we're going to die.
That last one was 10 out of 10.
Oh,
Well, it's good to know that
Okay.
this film did get at least one positive review, because those first two are pretty
Yep.
brutal.
So Amy, what movie do you think it is?
I'm going to say that's definitely Armageddon.
Oh, we have to take the
you have
first
to take your first answer.
No, I'm kidding. Whatever.
Okay.
What do you think it actually is?
Is that your final answer?
I kind of want to say yes, just to go with it, but I think it is based on the fact that the first review said sequel. I think it is a Bad Boys 2.
I also think Bad Boys 2, based on it being a sequel, based on it being glam, based on it being 2.5 hours long, and I just finished it literally before I put my monitor on my desk and walked over here. I started it at like 3 and I was like, fucking hell. And also based on you saying boys in review number 3.
Boys in the third review, and the glamour
Yeah.
really stuck out to me on the first one.
You
So,
are
Stuart.
correct. It is Bad Boys 2.
Hey.
And you know what? Yeah, glamour is the perfect word. It's the most glamorous action movie I've ever seen. That opening sequence where Will Smith just T-poses the fuck out of those white supremacists. And that's when I knew how good this movie was about to be. But we've been missing out for the last fucking 15 years or whatever, however old we are.
Yeah. We've been saying you ain't seen Bad Boys 2 for like 2 years now, and neither of us have seen it.
Yeah. You ain't seen Bad Boys 2? That was my direct inspiration for my review.
You ever fired 2 guns while jumping through the air?
Yeah, I don't care how hard you and the boys walk in slow motion in the police station. You can't just bust into Cuba.
I mean, it is kind of the plot of What's It and Slim.
Queen and Slim.
Queen and Slim, yeah, where they just try to fly to Cuba at the end.
But they're escaping to Cuba. They're not, like, blowing up an embassy.
Landing in a minefield. Also, the premise that ecstasy is an incredibly dangerous drug.
Yeah. Oh, but it's literally, okay, there's elements from both movies. Yeah, it's a little bit long. You got to be prepared for it. And yeah, you got to switch your brain off. It's so much fun. Like, you go in and it's everything you would want from a Michael Bay action movie.
And a Will Smith movie, actually.
Yeah. And Bad Boys was, I mean, because I watched Bad Boys 1 and it was okay. It was very...
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was Michael Bay's first movie until I watched it. But then I watched Bad Boys 2 and I'm like, oh, I get it. Okay,
I see
this
the
is why-
amateurism now.
Yeah.
So, Matt, I think I'm going to guess first, because you guessed... Oh, no, I guessed the last one, you guessed first. Which one is Stuart's review?
Right, Stuart, tell me those headlines and ratings again.
Don't let your children see this film. 1 out of 10.
Sounds like you.
Very Stuart-esque.
Yeah, there's loads of like awful shit. Like that whole sequence when they're in the morgue, and okay, I get it. She's an attractive woman.
And
She's
he's
still a
he's
dead
with the
woman.
dead woman.
You know, like
Yeah, the corpse titties.
But anyway, and then
Call it what it is.
pure garbage. 1 out of 10. Again, yeah, leave your brain at the fucking door. Like switch it off, and then fine. And it's a long ass fucking movie. Make sure you got time. If you got a meeting at 2 and you think, oh, just squeeze in a quick move. Oh shit, I'm late for work.
Are they
Squeeze
still
in
the
a bit of Bad
headlines?
Boys.
A bit of Bad Boys. And then the action's non-stop. 10 out of 10. Get waterboarded at Guantanamo.
See, the first one sounds like you because you always have parental warnings and Karen moments. But the third one, because I think you liked it and really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna say 3, just because I believe you're not a Karen one time.
What was the rating
Amy,
for
what
number
do you
1
think?
again?
1 out of 10.
Okay, so I was thinking maybe he'd be a bit of a Karen, but he would enjoy it. A 1 out of 10 is definitely too low for still enjoying it. So I also will go with number 3.
Okay. You're both correct.
Hey.
Yeah.
2 points
but I
each.
do
So
give-
Stuart now
but,
has
yeah,
no chance of winning.
I do agree with some elements of those 2 reviews. Leave your brain at the door. Make sure you got time. And okay, yeah, obviously it's not a kids movie, but that's what ratings are for. But I didn't care. This wasn't a movie marketed towards teenagers. This is a grown-ups fucking movie. My my main gripe with that movie, right? That iconic line, shit just got real. He stands up.
Yeah, he stands up into the rotating camera.
I was expecting that to mean so much more. I thought something worse was going down, like the chief of police was in on it the whole time, or the president was in on it, or
well, that's when he finds out his sister's in danger.
Yeah, but who cares about her?
Wow, racist.
I'm like, oh, is that it? She's in danger. Oh, great. She can handle herself. She's pretty capable. She survived that whole second action sequence. So I was not fearing for her life at all because obviously
it doesn't seem like she's going to get hurt.
It's bad that she's in danger. She's in Cuba and she's been kidnapped. Fine. But I was expecting all the times I'd seen that line parodied and that sequence parodied and how dramatic it is, I was expecting that to be so much more of a reveal, not just, she's been kidnapped. I'm like, oh, is that it? Okay, I guess.
It felt pretty momentous to me, but also kind of played out. Like when you read some line in Shakespeare and shit, and everyone's quoted it so much, and you're like, oh, that's where that's from. It's kind of stolen it now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a defining moment in Bad Boys.
It was not a defining moment in Bad Boys 2, no. Just like Jon Snow, it was not a defining moment.
Jon Snow is not a bad boy.
Yeah, it's prostitute, isn't it?
He's a good boy.
No, he's a very good boy.
Good direwolf boy.
Very good boy. So, which review with whose review?
Right, Matt, let's go on to your movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what
Let's
again?
Go on to my
what did you
movie.
choose again?
Shut the fuck up.
Damn, almost worked.
Nice try. You will find out fairly quickly. Right. As a bit of a warning, these were all really long, so I just ripped a paragraph out of each one before the end.
I've been getting that more and more with these fuckers. They just keep fucking this is not your magnum opus. a paragraph will do.
You're not Mark Kermode.
Sorry, one little thing. Both of my reviews first one was from 2006 and Pure Garbage was from 2004.
2004? That's like when the internet started.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so...
How old do I mean?
16, what are you saying?
All right, Matt.
All right. What should I go in order of this time? Last time I did shortest to longest. I think I'm going to go highest rating to lowest this time.
Ooh.
All right. This one is titled Superb Film, Believable Acting, Well Written, Severely Underrated.
Armageddon.
Thanks, Amy. Point to Amy. No, I'm joking. Right. There's a lot of heavy air quotes in this. Right. I seriously do not understand the utter hate towards this film by critics when writing their reviews. Historically inaccurate, or just another love story, or boring. If you want to see a film that... God damn it, Amy. If you want to see a film that is totally historically accurate, watch a documentary for heaven's sake. This movie goes way out of proportion to what really happened that day in blank. But it is a movie. Get over it. It's not supposed to be real. The film as a whole is brilliantly written. It's not too soppy with the romance and not too over the top with pure action. People are saying that it's just too much shoot 'em and too many explosions. Oh, too much shoot 'em up and too many explosions. Well, I got news for you. They're at war. Bombs will go off and guns will be fired from all places possible. If you want to see a movie that's not so explosive, watch Twilight.
I love this person already.
Yeah.
They love all the
Oh my
films I
God. The
love.
thing about Armageddon is, like, it could be historically accurate. It's not like those documents went on file.
That's true.
It
That's
could
true.
be.
Hamster, that's a new conspiracy.
They did try and hush it up for the whole world.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think that was Matt's review because I don't think you care what people think.
Can I finish the review?
Oh, are you still going? I'm sorry.
Oh, you're still
I was trying to
going.
talk and you were just like...
God.
Yeah. To me personally, character development is very important in a movie, and I believe Blank succeeded with this. I grew attached to individuals and felt vulnerable as a member of the audience at the best of times. Absolutely superb watch, and I'd highly recommend it. If you're offended by a film not being entirely accurate, steer clear and stick to your documentaries. 9 out of 10. Excellent.
Jesus, that was a long review.
I definitely, I think I agree with that one. I think I know which one it is. I think it's kind of obvious which one it is.
Yeah, it's like...
I mean,
No
only
question.
like one of Michael Bay's movies continually stops to tell you it's a true story.
But yeah, I think that one kind of hit it on the head for me a little bit, especially regarding the love story, because I knew I wanted to watch this. It was on my list of things to watch because I just never got round to it. And I was actually on Sky looking through the romance section and it was there. And I was like, do you know what? Let's watch it for a romance.
Do you want to hit us with your other 2 long reviews?
This one's called I'll Never Let Go, Jack. It is 8 out of 10. Right. This movie feels like Michael Bay saw Titanic and wanted to make a sequel with Jack as an all-American beefcake getting revenge on the iceberg. Maybe he felt emasculated, I don't know.
That is literally it. It
That
is.
could be the
It's
whole
just a
review.
really cheap Leonardo DiCaprio as well. Just knock off.
Ben Affleck is not a
He
cheap
couldn't
Leonardo
befriend
DiCaprio.
Leonardo
Saying all that,
DiCaprio, so he had to be friends with Matt Damon.
I'm not going to finish any of these reviews, am I?
Sorry.
Right. Saying all that, they doubled up the word that. Saying all that, it looks stunning and I wish I'd seen it in IMAX, but I'll have to make do with How to Train Your Dragon. The acting is fine, if not special. Ben Affleck isn't a standout, but he's likable. The cast is enormous, but it doesn't lose focus on the main characters at the centre. Bay clearly learned a lot from years of music videos that it can't be that hard to make Hawaii look pretty. The humour is what I genuinely like most. The melodrama combined with the constant action and BAYHEM really needed the breath above water that the jokes give you. And at 3 hours long, you might just want to take a break halfway through.
I actually did.
All in all, 8 out of 10 summer blockbuster with a serious twist. Oh, with a serious twist, not like a twist at the end. 8 out of 10 summer blockbuster with a serious twist. If you ever wondered what 9/11 movies are going to look like in 10 years, picture this with New York accents.
This movie doesn't like pretend to be like a
Is it
deep and
they,
meaningful.
It's a true story, and I don't think they try and stray from the fact that it is a true story. But it is definitely, what is it, BAYHEM. I like that term. I'll keep that.
Again, you know what you're getting into.
Review number 3.
Yes, please.
3 out of 10. Someone Get Me a Pair of Scissors is the title.
Oh my god.
For a film about 3 bodybuilders in the 90s, I don't know what I was expecting. No, I'm fucking with you. That's not what it says.
Oh no!
I wanted you to do an Armageddon again, but it's not that at all.
Bodybuilders, got the Armageddon.
Oh.
Wait, is that actually the first line of the review?
No, that is definitely not the first line. I'm very much joking with you.
Pain and gain.
Right, this one's 3 out of 10. Yes. 3 out of 10, and it actually is called Someone Get Me a Pair of Scissors.
Okay, it is actually Someone Get Me a Pair of Scissors, not necessarily Pain and Gain.
But again, no more interrupting Matt.
Someone Get Me a Pair of Scissors.
We got the hat
What a
trick.
great film this could have been. The recreation of Blank is some of the best filmmaking ever, an extraordinary and moving sequence made utterly believable by state-of-the-art effects. It ranks up there with the opening sequence from Saving Private Ryan and the sinking of the Titanic. They put Titanic in quotes, as if it's not real.
It didn't actually sink. It's all a conspiracy.
Oh, you can see the strings, people.
Yeah, they put Saving Private Ryan in quotes and just Titanic in quotes, not the sinking of. So something sank, but we don't know it was the Titanic. Right, and the sinking of the Titanic as one of the most harrowing disaster sequences filmed in
Wow.
recent years. But like both of those other two films, Blank is desperately in need of a decent script to frame the disaster sequence. Next paragraph is cut for time. But what this film really needed was an editor. The climax of the film is the attack on Blank, an American defeat, but it seems the filmmakers decided that the American audience wouldn't be satisfied with this. And so the movie grinds on and on for another hour or so, dramatizing a revenge attack on Blank. I should stop blanking stuff at this point. And we're supposed to believe that this attack was fought by the very same guys who were on the ground in Hawaii. I mean, we all know that America won the war in the end, so did we really need this long epilogue? I'd also end the film after the attack, as the survivors pick up the pieces. So why not have a shorter director's cut? A novel concept that makes this film the great film it could have been. If you like, I'll lend the scissors. Very much agreed on this movie is fucking
I'm curious.
long.
They say this movie needs an editor. I'm curious as to how they think movies get made.
Yeah.
But I think me and Amy and the audience, I hope, know what this movie is. Can we say it and end the tension?
Well, you two have to give your answers. Amy, you said Armageddon, right?
Okay, you didn't take my first answer last time, so you can take my first answer this time. I believe, based on historical evidence, this film is Armageddon.
It's Pearl.
Parmageddon.
Harbor. Pearl.
A point
Okay,
to
point to
Stuart.
Stuart.
Pearl Harbor.
Oh,
Yay! But
Yeah, you never actually said the correct answer, Amy.
Parmageddon.
Okay, point for both of you. The winner of this episode is going to be who knows which review was mine, basically.
honestly, I'm thinking it through. That third review is way too long to be yours, Matt, because okay, you can trail off a bit, but when it's on the cut, when it's on the thing, when it's in writing, you know when to cut it. I'm thinking it might be review number 2 because the review number 2 mentions that point about music videos, and you were saying earlier that's how Michael Bay got started with editing music videos.
Unless I learned that from reading reviews.
From that review.
The other 2 made points that you wouldn't bring up, so that's why I'm going to stick with review number 2.
So you're saying number 2. What do you think, Amy?
What were the headlines again? Refresh me.
So, superb film, believable acting, well written, severely underrated. That was the one you really liked. Second one was I'll Never Let Go, Jack. And the third one was Someone Get Me a Pair of Scissors. Thinking emoji.
I
Thinking
think
emoji.
possibly number 1. Because based on the fact that it's a long film, so I think you did need a break.
It really is.
Especially if you were up in Scotland. There's a whole bunch of other movies to be watching. One of those movies potentially could have been Twilight. So I'm gonna go with number 1, I think.
I feel like Matt knows that 2012 was a very long time ago.
Right, so Amy, you've said review number 1. Stuart, you've said review number 2. And I think that means the winner of this episode is probably going to be Stuart. It was review number 2. Amy, I'm glad you think I'm that funny.
Oh man! Okay, I'm glad I was able to deduce that with science.
I gotta say, I do love review number 1. If I could have written that, I would have. That was a great review.
Yeah. It couldn't have been review number 3 because that guy went on way too long, and you wouldn't be dumb enough to put spoilers in your own review.
Yeah, that one, I thought it was a really interesting review, but I didn't realize until I came back after putting it in my notepad how long it was. The one I read had a large paragraph cut out.
I do get what the third one was saying about how there's 2 endings. I totally get that, and that is one of my pet peeves when it comes to films. Just end it. One.
So I've not actually watched Pearl Harbor. So what does it end with? Them nuking Japan or what?
It ends with them doing the first attack on Japan, where they bomb Tokyo.
That's tasteful.
It is.
It also ends with a narration where they explain that a black guy got a medal.
Yeah, sure.
Gotta be done.
Yeah, sure.
Gotta be done.
A little bit of progression. Yeah, sure. I'll take it.
No,
Well,
I get
it's one of
what they mean
they
by
actually go
ending
through a
at the
lot of stuff,
attack.
and they're like, it was the first time this happened, and the first time this happened, and then this happened. Yeah.
The thing is,
Lots of narration.
Yeah, I've never been interested in watching that movie because it just looks like this weird, lame. Okay, yeah, I've heard all the stuff about it before. Like it's this weird romantic thing, but also this hugely insulting thing that wants to be. Is what I've heard, and I've just been like, this sounds like a complete mess. I'm not interested. I won't really watch it.
So I actually have seen it, and like it's insulting history-wise, but like I'd say like it's kind of like what I said in the end of my review. Like it's entertaining, the characters are likable, it's funny sometimes, and like if you don't care about history, then it looks amazing. Yeah.
I think my thought,
But yeah,
what
some people
drew
were very
me
pissed.
was the historical side, because, you know, when you hear about Pearl Harbor, the film, you feel like, oh, that's definitely something I need to watch. It's definitely something I need to, like, experience and learn about and blah, blah, blah.
Not really.
But it was the love story that kept me going.
The love story is pretty good, actually. Like, it's Titanic,
it is
basically.
good.
But without the class
It's
thing.
engaging, whereas the rest of it I did find I was like, okay, and when it just kept going on and on, the love story was slowly running out for me. Like the love juice was running out. And
Jesus fucking
the
Christ.
whole, you know how like sometimes at the start of a film you're blown away by the cinematography, but then you're kind of like, towards the end you kind of get numb with it because, okay, I get the style that we're doing now, and like the
the
magic
big visuals
wears
are at
off.
the end of this movie.
That's kind of what I had with Pearl Harbor. I was like, okay, what's getting me
really?
to the end?
Oh, I had it the other way around. All the big visual moments were at the end.
My thought there is I wouldn't really watch a Michael Bay movie for its love story.
I mean,
is
Armageddon.
My thought, but if,
I loved that love story, which is why I was like, Michael Bay's not bad with love. I mean, the Transformers, don't get me wrong, the love story in that was bloody awful, but...
It's a whole other different kind of love, though.
Do you guys just want to do a section talking about Armageddon? Because I feel like we all have opinions on Armageddon.
Okay, let's just finish Pearl Harbor and then we'll get to Armageddon. Because I know Amy really wants to talk about that one a bit more extensively.
Okay.
But Matt, would you? Okay, so how many out of 10 was it for you?
I gave it 8, but that is very specifically if you ignore all the history shit.
The thing is, I can
2
ignore
points for history.
I can ignore history. I can. I have the capacity.
I feel like if you're told to ignore the history of it, and I guess if you know Michael Bay, you can kind of be like, okay, well, he's not really done much other history stuff.
Yeah,
You can
because
kind
I
of
remember
go with that.
ages ago. I think it was when we were going to see the first It movie, Matt. There was this movie about halfway through the trailer as airplanes in World War II, and the guy says, "If we don't do this thing, then Japan's going to control the entire West Coast." And the first thing you said was, "That never fucking happened. That is not how it happened in the fucking slightest," and stuff." So
They actually say similar things in this movie, actually. Like, they're talking about how if Japan invaded, they'd get to Chicago before we could stop them.
See, I love stuff like that. It's the whole sensation of it. I love, like, you know, in school when your history teacher's like, and if they won, we'd all be speaking German now, and you're like, whoa. Can you imagine us speaking German? Like, the whole world, like, that's kind of like the movie equivalent, I think.
Yeah.
Which is such a crazy line, because even occupied France didn't really speak German. Like, no one was being forced to learn
I mean,
German.
okay, no one's going to speak German on day one.
Yeah, I suppose, like... Yeah.
Occupation, day one.
Because the whole, like, German idea of World War II was just get everyone else the fuck out of Europe so we can have it. Like...
But was it refreshing to watch something about World War II that wasn't particularly European?
I mean, I don't watch much about World War II, like, at all, so it wasn't refreshing compared to other World War... Like, the last one I watched was Das Boot, which is all in German. So... Also, the Nazis are the main characters, which is feels a bit weird. Spoilers at the end, they get
Different
bombed.
perspective.
Yeah.
Are we the bad guys?
Are we the baddie? Are we the baddies?
Are we the baddies?
Yes, are we the
Look,
baddies?
Jeremy.
There's skulls on our caps. Maybe they're the
Pirates
skulls of
of
our
fun.
enemies.
So Pearl Harbor brings us to Matt has 2 points, Stuart has also 2 points, and I have 3 points.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Looks like another steal 'em and wheel 'em, smash and grab, honk honk.
No. Unlike
We'll see
Matt,
about
I'm going
that.
to hold on to this win.
Ooh.
We'll see about that. It's going to be
Will you
Armageddon
now?
up in this bitch.
So maybe I'll give out,
Speaking
as
of
host,
Armageddon.
I'll give out extra points for your opinions on Armageddon.
Yes, you were very eager we watched that movie.
It's a really dumb movie.
Yes, so I mentioned this in the Action
Yes.
Dads episode. I
Yeah.
watched Armageddon because it's one of my favourite films. It is also obviously Michael Bay, possibly another reason why I chose him for this Hot Shots episode. So I instructed you two many weeks ago to watch Armageddon. And how did you find it, Matt?
I found it really dumb.
Horrible. Get out.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah,
it's
it's
the
a really
dumbest
dumb
fucking movie
movie.
ever. But it's also the
Yeah.
most masculine,
Yeah.
emotional movie ever. And I was like Amy, I was half falling at the very end of it. Like, oh, no!
Also,
okay.
the- The line, I didn't show her how to use a tampon, I told her how to use a tampon, has been burned into my brain for 2 weeks.
Oh, fuck me, I forgot about
I
that.
watched it before I left, and that guy
Yeah.
with his eyes going, I didn't show her how to use a tampon.
Yeah.
It's really
But
sad.
do you guys get what I mean about like the character development? How it they do it so well to start with. Like they're such. I mean, they're not necessarily particularly deep characters, but just how they introduce them
One
and
of the
how you learn
characters just
and
randomly gets
learn
space
to love
dementia.
them.
Yeah, like I had a bit of a hard time with Bruce Willis's character at the very beginning, mostly because like I really don't like the outdated trope of the man chasing the boyfriend around with a shotgun and stuff. Because, oh no, I
can see why you didn't like Bad Boys
mostly
2.
because like okay, yeah, give the guy a hard time, but don't actually try and kill him. Like okay, yeah. You know, challenge.
He waved a
you
gun
know,
in his face with his
sure, if
finger
you think
like
a guy's not good
firmly on
enough,
the trigger.
Challenge him or whatever, saying, "Oh, where's your career going? Oh, what do you mean you're not going to move out of your mom's basement? Video? You want to be a streamer? And you want to be a streamer? The only stream I get is in the urinal, or I don't know, that kind of shit and stuff. You don't chase him with a shotgun. Also, you got to respect your daughter a bit, man. She is an adult woman. I mean, obviously that's where he grows to, but he literally had to die to learn a lesson.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a movie, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing the dad who doesn't realize how old
She's
his
running
daughter
his
is.
company. You know, she.
I think he's absent from her
So
life.
absent that she's running the
so
company.
the last time they really connected, she was like
Yeah.
she was little when they last like emotionally connected. Then
Yeah.
she went distant, and then I think that's when it became more of a business relationship than an actual
Yeah.
father-daughter.
Well, she went distant and he didn't have anything to say.
What did you think of the BAYHEM?
It was very
of it all?
orange and it was very blue.
Crazy.
And
no, this
but-
one wasn't as orange and blue.
Yeah,
it
it
was a lot more
was.
green and blue. There was at one point in this movie, there is a guy who is lit purely in green for no reason.
NASA was very blue. Yeah, NASA was very blue.
But some people are just lit crazy though. There was, like I mentioned, there's one point, there are a couple points where people are just lit purely with a green lamp and things like that, just to show that they're the science nerd or some shit.
I loved that the asteroid was so villainous. It looked like no asteroid I've ever seen and stuff. But it was like this harrowing, dark green thing. Like it's got and
It looked like the spaceship that comes through the wormhole in
Yeah.
that one Star Trek movie. where it's just made
and
of
also
spikes.
it's spiky, and it's like this asteroid is out to get us. This is not just a random thing. This is a malicious
And occasionally
asteroid.
it attacks itself.
It's purposely coming towards Earth.
And I love that as well, because it doesn't. Yeah, there's no villain in the movie, obviously, and stuff. So there's no big angry Russian guy or Middle Eastern man for us to scream at or whatever, like in some of his other movies. So instead, in place of that, we've got this omnipotent force, the unstoppable object.
But like most of it wasn't. It didn't look like Transformers.
Oh no. But I think
Honestly, you can't compare the two. Like they're so different breeds, despite the same guy making them, but they are completely different movies.
I think, what was it that I watched that I thought was actually very similar to Armageddon? Oh, it was Independence Day. So two very different. I can't remember who directs Independence Day, but they did another film as well that I know of. Anyway, they are very different directors, but they still have a lot of those really staple features of like an action sci-fi film where you get the like global scale. So you see the kids in Africa watching the sky, and you see, you know, the sky is what unites every country around the globe. And there was a lot of that going on in Armageddon as well, which I love.
I can't say anything. I've not watched Independence Day. God damn it.
Oh my god, truth. Yeah. I think we've got to do a Will Smith day soon.
The thing that I thought of on your point of uniting the world and stuff, right? This is clearly a global problem. Like, very clearly a global... Yeah, it's up to exclusively the Americans to save the day.
Exclusively Americans and exclusively like a buff oil driller. and his band of merry men.
That's how I kind of felt about Transformers, is that they go, in Transformers 2 I think it is, they go to Egypt and they spend a lot of time in like Egypt and Cairo. And I'm like, how does Egypt feel about the Americans blowing shit up right now on their territory?
With aliens.
I guess it's that old American movie thing. They don't really know how the rest of the world works, so they'll just do it the American way and just assume it'll be fine. Which I don't have a problem with. It's just if you think about it, it's again, you switch the brain on, it's like, wait a minute, all of these problems turn it off again, it's happy again.
Did you guys have favourite characters in this movie?
100%.
Because I really like Steve Buscemi's bit. Because every time I see him in a movie, he plays a character that I would never think would need to exist until he plays it. Like in this one, he plays sort of a horn dog, super genius,
he chose not
oil
to be a
driller
genius.
who goes to Spain. And it's like, it's a ridiculous character, but like it's sort of likable that it exists. And he does that in a few movies. Like, yeah. And the Russian guy, he was good too.
I loved the guy from Green Mile. What was, I can't remember what he's called. But yeah, he was my favourite in that film. What rating, what review, what would be your headline review for Armageddon?
Honestly, I've said it a lot. Like, this is a really dumb movie. This is in dumb pendants.
Stuart, what would your headline be?
Do you like men? Do you like emotions?
Ooh, that review would have me hooked.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I guess is the time for shooting blanks.
Also, I just realised this movie is less dumb than the parody version they did of it in Futurama with the giant ball of trash.
Oh, yes! Oh, yeah.
I just made that connection while you were talking, and I was like, I really want to say this, I really want to say this, I really want to say this.
Right, so let's get into a round of shooting blanks to decide today's winner.
Pew, pew, pew,
so to
pew,
decide
pew,
who comes into second and I guess first place, if I fail to hold on to first place, we shall play shooting blanks.
I'm coming for you, Amy.
I will read out the first synopsis, but with words blanked out, and the quickest out of these two to guess the movie wins the round. The third person will then read out another synopsis, and me and the winner will go head to head to see who can claim winner of today's episode.
All
All right,
I don't know about you, but I'm
ready?
hype. I'm hype.
Right.
You hype.
Shit's about to get real. Hit us, Amy.
Okay. Sam Witwicky
Transformers.
leaves the blank behind for a normal life. But when his mind is filled with cryptic blank...
Transformers 2.
Yes, Transformers 2. Oh, what is the actual
Revenge
name,
of the Fallen.
though? Okay,
Oh,
yes,
fuck.
there you go.
It's one of 2 Transformers movies I've actually
I
seen.
said Transformers, and I was going to start listing off the sequels, but I don't actually know their names.
So Sam Witwicky leaves the Autobots behind for a normal life, but when his mind is filled with cryptic symbols, the Decepticons target him and is dragged back into the
I feel
Transformers
like that kid is too busy
war.
creating his own problems to live a normal life.
Do you know what I did notice about all of that saga, and particularly the third one that
Yeah.
Megan Fox isn't in? The only admirable factor of Sam Witwicky is the fact that he's dating Megan Fox. That's the
Until he
only
isn't in
thing
the
that
third
gives
one.
him
It is
Any,
very
like,
impressive how many
hassle.
times he can say no.
No, 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 no,
No,
no,
no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no. Oh, he's like Owen Wilson, but like faster
Wow.
on repeat.
wow.
Wow.
That's an interesting question. So you watched the entirety of the Transformers
pity you.
Apart from the
saga.
last one, I didn't watch the last night.
What's your takeaway from Transformers?
My takeaway is that there is a spot that I didn't know needed scratching. I think where I've run out of superhero films that scratch that itch, Transformers I think is a decent substitute. I think it's got quirky characters and it's got that magic of an adventure and good and evil. So when I've run out of Marvel films to watch, I know I can now turn to maybe the first Transformers, and maybe that'll satisfy that spot. I think that's my
Okay.
takeaway.
Okay.
You can tell I get that problem a lot. Like we watched Spider-Man: Far From Home for the first time last weekend. I know it's been too long.
Yeah.
And then afterwards I was like, okay, well that's like the latest in the series, but I need to watch more superhero stuff. Like that's not quite like I enjoyed it, but I want more now. And I was like, this is it. This is the spot
Well,
that Transformers
luckily-
managed to itch.
Well, luckily this fall you can watch The Boys on Amazon Prime, season 2 coming 4th of September.
Amazon sponsor us.
Please.
Please. Matt, we need a synopsis from you. I am sure
Amy,
Stuart is
I'm coming
gonna.
for
I know.
you.
I'm really nervous now because I'm not good at the shooting blanks game at all. So
You're regretting it, mate. You're regretting adding the steal option because you could have just walked away from
But-
this week, but you had to steal it from Matt for the last couple of
we
times.
managed to get it off Matt. Now I'm nervous. I'm quaking in my boots. I'm quaking in my
Wait.
boots.
There's a snake in my boot. Matt, do you have one prepared or are you
There's a
just waiting for us to
snake in
shut
my
up?
boots.
Right.
Alright.
Okay.
Blank is just like everyone else who waits to go to the blank. But he soon discovers that his blank is a lie, and everybody, including the other inhabitants,
The
are
island.
blank. Hey,
That's like the
well
one
done.
I didn't
had
watch.
no. I watched that like a decade ago. I didn't realize that was Michael
watched
Bay
it 2
until I was
weeks
watching
ago.
all the top 10 lists and stuff. And I actually I enjoyed The Island at the
you?
time. I haven't watched it since.
Oh.
I kind of enjoyed it now. It's like, it's just fine.
Yeah,
Like,
It's
a lot of Michael Bay movies average a rating of like 6.5 to 7,
What?
and that's correct.
again
That's a correct rating.
Watching
He is a
that
6 out of 10
movie-
guy.
6 out of 10. Watching
6.5.
that movie again, it's orange and it's blue. Tell me I'm wrong, Matt.
Oh, it is extremely orange and blue. That is the one I most agree with you on. The island is very orange and blue, and it's quite fun sci-fi, actually.
Oh, it's a sci-fi.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's fun.
Ewan McGregor's in it.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor and
I forgot to actually say it unblanked. Let me say it unblanked for you.
The Fantastic Four. Jessica Alba.
For Amy, really.
Yes, tell me the synopsis. Sell it to me. Sell it to me.
Lincoln 6 Echo is just like everyone else who waits to go to the island. But he soon discovers that his existence is a lie, and everybody, including the other inhabitants, are human clones. So he lives in...
Oh, I got it. Matrix.
He basically lives in the Matrix, but they're actually alive and walking
That's
around.
a bit of a spoiler.
But they are cloned as adults.
Is it? Oh, don't give me spoilers.
That's a spoilery synopsis.
Yeah, they are cloned as adults so that people who
You're
they're
just
cloned
telling
from
me everything.
can buy their
Oh my
organs and
God.
shit.
Okay, that's the twist in the movie though. Like it's
Well, I
it's
just
near the
can't
first
watch
half
it
of the
now.
beginning, but like that's a
I'm
twist.
going to be honest with you, audience.
That's like
It doesn't matter. if you're watching this movie for the plot or anything, meh.
I watch it for Jessica Alba's plots.
There is a lot of Jessica Alba in this.
My gosh,
And her
that is
plots.
old. That is an old film. What year is it?
2005.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Wow,
that is
man.
the Albert era. Right, wow. That's it then,
That's
isn't
good.
it?
That's good movie
That's
trivia,
it.
Stuart. One even more point.
But that makes me this
That
week's winner.
does.
Oh man,
That does.
Amy
Amy would be announcing this, but she's angry at you.
Yeah.
I'm
Also,
leaving
that was
the
also
show.
the easiest round of shooting blanks because again, I'm like Amy. I'm not that good at it, but I was surprised I got that. I'm like, oh, I know. But
Yeah.
Michael Bay's only got like 12
I know,
movies under
that's
his
why I
belt
was
and stuff.
like,
Everything else is all production credits, producer credits.
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
something.
he
And a
went
lot of
into
music
producer
videos.
pretty quickly, but I guess when you've got contacts in the military, you're pretty good with
Yeah.
budgeting.
Yeah.
Him and Spielberg like tight buds as well, aren't they? So
Michael Bay.
I think
master
doing
of
military
coin.
stuff is a good way to sort of boost your career early on because it means you can get movies, you can sell movies on the premise, you can sell movies to like producers on the premise that most of them will be paid for.
there's like an
And then you can
inside
be like,
joke
hey, look at this
that
huge
like
thing.
it's
Yeah.
easy to sell anything in America if it's America's best or if it's America's best brand. So if your film is just about how amazing America is, Americans like lap that up.
Patriotism. Well, Pearl Harbor was actually pre 9/11 by 4 months.
Ah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wait, no, it was June, so 3 months.
There's something in that. Have you conspiracy
it's coming.
theorists at home? I want you to look into that, and then I want you to message us on @WalkedOutPod on our Twitter or our Facebook. We want to know your Pearl Harbor,
We have a
Michael
Facebook.
Bay 9/11 conspiracies. I am also on Twitter if you want to hit me up with that, @FiskMonster. Stuart, what's your Twitter? What would you like to plug?
At Strobitat. You can follow me on @Strobitat, where I tweet once a year. Hang tight,
It's a bloody
coming
good tweet.
soon.
I can vouch
Yeah.
for that. Matt,
And you can follow me for no particular reason @NimSudo. I don't know
you know
why
what?
you would.
Just
I reply
don't.
to like software
Just-
engineers.
just don't follow him.
It's got a
Don't do
stupid
it.
name.
Just don't follow him.
Next
Not
week's
even
name.
as an act of rebellion. You'll just look like a shitty teenager.
Who is hosting next week?
I believe it's Matt.
It is, in fact, moi.
And what have you
And
my
chosen
topic.
for us?
As our
My topic
penultimate
I have
theme.
mentioned a couple times. It is 3-hour-long movies. No, I'm joking. It is Steve Buscemi. My topic is, in fact, Steve Buscemi.
Oh, that means a lot of Monsters Inc.
Yeah. I was torn between Steve Buscemi and Harry Potter movies in Harry Potter actors in non-Harry Potter movies.
That would've been
That's
a lot
a
of
very
researching.
complicated.
I'm
that'd
saving
be
that
a-
one.
Yeah, and also like that's every that.
Well, it's surprisingly easy to research because people have made shitloads of lists.
Well, I do like a British actor, so that would have been up my street. But Steve Buscemi is just
Yeah.
as good
Yeah.
on his
Well,
own.
that's why you married one. That'll get Twit buzzing.
Yes.
Mystery husband. I don't know.
I married Steve Buscemi, but you can't tell him.
For his eyes.
Married him for his eyes.
I'm excited for that. Does that means I
Yeah.
get to do Armageddon all over again? So
But I'm gonna be in the zone next week, guys.
It
Playing
does.
some big numbers.
Next week, we're going to be firing miniguns into space. No, not next week. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So guys, we're now going to move to fortnightly episodes, just because we are slowly coming out of the pandemic
We all
crisis
had to
and
get
returning back
jobs.
to real life. And Stuart has just moved house, dude. Congratulations.
I have moved house. I have a lovely flat here now.
You have a lot of work to be doing. I have to a lot of work to be
And
tend to be
space to watch
doing.
movies in.
Lots of personal development going on, guys. So yeah, fortnightly. We will be Thursday mornings on your Spotify, on your Apple Podcasts now. We are officially on Apple and on Google Podcasts as well. They're sort of the top main three. So if you're on Apple, give us five stars would be amazing, as apparently that helps, although I've not actually looked into it. And
And just to be clear, we don't want any nuanced 3-star
Right.
reviews. It's 5 or nothing. We're not reading them
no,
unless we make a
we're not
special
going to reply
episode.
to them if you can.
No one is looking at this.
I mean, only one of us actually has an Apple product.
But tweet us your themes, like
I
other
do.
themes that
I
you want us to
own one.
look at. Is it other actors or like genres of movie, like movies starring Daniel Radcliffe where he takes his shirt off? That'd be an interesting week.
We're going to do our Hot Shot episodes every 10 episodes. So if you send us in something that is I don't know, Martin Scorsese, probably not going to do that the week after. But yeah, look for some really niche, interesting ones that are really going to challenge us. We've got a few in mind already. So yeah, let's get the conversation going, guys.
See you in a fortnight.
See you in
See you in 2
2 weeks.
weeks.
I've been Amy.
I've been
I'm
Matt.
Stuart.
Fuck, we did it in sync.
Do it again.
No, we didn't.
I've
I've been Stuart.
I've been Matt.
Can't say
Right.
anything. Can't say
3,
goodbye
2, 1.
anymore.
I've been Amy.
Amy. I've been Stuart.
And I've been Matt.
See you later,
See you
guys.
next time, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice.
And stop recording.